From the National Rifle Association. I met with members at NRA in my office, and they proceeded to say, to inform me that at the time, this is what they thought the group was about. And since I really didn't know what the group was about, I wrote the Mayors Against Illegal Guns and said, please remove my name. I will be meeting you again in Washington. I want to sit down and really understand what this organization is about. And that's what I did. I went back to Washington, I sat down with them, I listened to what they had to say, I agreed with what they had to say, and I put my name back on it. So I did remove my name. But I did it, when I signed that originally, and I think anyone, if they saw a sign that said, you know, sign here if you don't like pets being killed, it's an emotional reaction. That's how I reacted the first time. But I did go out and I did get informed, and I went back and I put my name back on it. And I believe what they're standing for. I stand for it, and that's it. If you have any other questions, I'll be glad to answer.
Thank you, Mayor. Now we are pretty far behind time, and I want to thank Ian and Josh for speaking to us today. And I did want to be able to get to the comments in the order that they were submitted. Not sure if the folks who made the comment were still able to be here, but I want to take them in the order that they were submitted. Writer from Mountain View says, I support the Second Amendment. It is pointless to have laws to disarm the public because violent criminals will ignore them. Another writer says, we are told not to judge all Muslims by the action of a few lunatics, but we are told to judge all gun owners by the actions of a few lunatics.
That's a good one. Who wrote that?
Writer says, the mission of the Mayors Against Illegal Guns is misguided and will intrude upon the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding citizens. I do not support the mission. Rather, the mayors should focus on good mental health facilities for citizens who need treatment. Writer writes, I find it disgusting that groups like yours continue to exploit the victims of gun violence tragedy for their own political gain. Look at your front display, disgusting and shameful. The writer writes, let's try to get through all of them, as many as we can, because we do need to break very shortly. The only thing that will stop a bad person from using a gun is a good person with a gun, and more restrictions only punish a law-abiding citizen. If you want to truly act for the good of Americans, you will reject any further restrictions on firearms. Also, to protect all, especially children, remove all gun-free zones because the bad guys know there will be no opposition to his shooting. Bullying and mental health issues should be addressed, but gun restrictions are not the cure. Writer writes, our basic civil liberties are enumerated in our Constitution and are the law of the land. Respect that. Writer writes, does your statistics consider socioeconomic impact, i.e. urban environment, low youth employment, or opportunity illegal immigration? Illegals occupy a high percentage of our prisons. Note, your agenda is exclusive to one point of view. The writer writes, did you know that licensed gun dealers are highly regulated and policed by state and local governments as well as the ATF? Comment, studies showed that firearm access increases the risk of death or homicide. Another comment, why do the anti-gun people exploit the victims of gun violence tragedies for their own self-interests? Guns don't belong in a crowded environment. We have police and fire protection, no self-protection excuse. Cars and drivers must obey regulations. Gun ownership must be strictly regulated. Guns should not be easily obtained. Existing guns should be destroyed. People who murder with guns should be executed with guns publicly. The Second Amendment is out of date and useless in the present society. Comment, can we get on with the program? May I have a 5-minute speech to present an alternative view? Comment. Institute time limits, 5 minutes for scheduled and non-scheduled speakers. Too many issues are being brought up. The comment, tell people how and when the comment cards will be addressed. Comment, what is the point of this forum if Sally just said it's more of a teach-in? Sounds to me you don't want to hear from pro-civil rights, pro-gun rights people. And our last comment, which I'm having a problem reading the handwriting, please inform on your role in the Measure C. And then there's specify, why did you wait until 2 days ago, 4:59 on election day last year to finally report the 1,200 piece mailing, 12,000 piece mailing you did in October. Were you waiting for Mayor Bloomberg's check to explain where to pay for the mailing to the citizens of Sunnyvale? Yes, I was very proud to support Measure C, along with a number of the other folks who are here today, and we receive funding for that campaign and a personal check from Mayor Bloomberg, which we were very glad to receive, and the reporting deadlines are the ones that get set by the county registrar of voters, and so they're the same for everybody. So now we just have a few minutes left, and we're actually about considerably over time. But I did want to just give a little wrap up and some thank yous. And the first thank you is to everybody who came and participated. I think it's a real testament, again, to Mountain View and to our surrounding area, that people care enough to come out on a Saturday. And I know that you've now been here for several hours.
Does that apply even to the people like us that you tried to shut up the entire time and wouldn't let us get our point across?
That
because this is really,
applies to everybody.
A joke.
You know, sometimes the rules are a little bit hard to live with, but we want to do that in the interest of being able to ask everybody's questions. And I think we got some really good substantive information. And for the folks who don't agree with the viewpoint that was expressed today, I want to thank you especially for coming. I think it's an important opportunity to hear from a viewpoint that you don't particularly hold. And our next forum, I can guarantee you'll get more notice. In particular, if you signed the email sign-up sheet out in the hallway. We've now had about 4 of these forums that were in Mountain View, and I have to say that this is the largest crowd of participation and groundswell from the community that we've had, but there will be more that are going to be coming up. And we can't take the questions that are not on the cards, unfortunately, but I wanted to offer up a thanks to some of our organizers who are here today, principally from Measure C. Nandini Balakrishna, thank you for all your work. And Don Veit, who's back here, who has done many, many things in the community and brought our coffee today. Thank you. Or, excuse me, our cookies for today. Thank you so much for being here today. We have David Wessel, who is a great organizer, who's back here, who's been staffing a lot of things and running questions up to make sure that we ask as many as possible. Mike Cerrone, who's here, who's done yeoman's work on all these things, including bringing our coffee to us today. And Mayor Tony Spitaleri for being here and for being one of the organizers, and all of our speakers who came today, many of whom had to drive from a great distance. We want to present the people that we think will be the most relevant. And the final question is, can someone sign up to speak at the next event, or can someone sign up to speak to you? And yes, the easiest way to contact me will be to sign the sign-up sheet, and if you'd like to meet up personally or like to organize something in the community, there is a contact page on my website at sallylieber.org. You can send an email, but if you did sign the sign-up sheet and leave us with your email, you're going to get all of the follow-up from this meeting, which I think is very, very important. So once again, I want to thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate your participation, and I think this is what makes Mountain View and the South Bay and the Bay Area a really great place to be, is that everybody participates and comes. So thank you so much for being here today. We appreciate it.